our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo at the usual time. Today's episode will focus on a very exciting collaboration between the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Sri Lanka and the Sri Lanka Foreign Service Association. The annual Diplomatic Bazaar and Cultural Extravaganza 2025 will be hosted on the 29th of November in Colombo, that is this Saturday. It will be held at the Golface Green. And to discuss more about this much looked forward to event, we have with us today Ms. Anzul Jhan, the President of the Sri Lanka Foreign Service Association, and also Mr. Sugeeshwara Gunaratna, Director General, Europe and North America, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. A very good evening to both of you.
Thank you for having us.
Certainly. So, Ms. Jhan, starting off our conversation today with you, before the program started, we were having a candid conversation about how the Diplomatic Bazaar and Cultural Extravaganza came to light. You started off in 2013, and 2 years later it has grown into a grand event, a much anticipated event. Let's talk about how this event is bringing together over 30 diplomatic missions and thousands of visitors. At the core of this event, what is the broader diplomatic vision that you hope to achieve through this event?
Thank you, Jaima. The broader expectation is about friendship and collaboration. We have about over 30 diplomatic missions, and we have a large visitor footfall, but better platform to have a very good people-to-people connection. And it will give everyone a chance to meet the diplomats and have a conversation with them and get to know their culture in detail.
Right.
So we are thinking this platform will provide not only the larger public but also the private sector and other sponsors a chance to communicate with the diplomatic community. We normally see the diplomats at meetings and very formal events. Even for us as officers, we meet them in meeting setup, and this is a good chance for us to work with them on one-on-one, collaborate, have a laugh over organization difficulties and issues and how best we can present this. So it's a very cordial, collaborative effort, and it has brought us much more closer.
Right, great. Mr. Sugeeshwara, sticking to the same question of the vision and the purpose of this event, like Ms. Jhan mentioned, how, in your opinion, do you believe this event will strengthen Sri Lanka's soft power footprint and also our global cultural ties with the foreign missions that are joining hands with this event?
Yeah, thank you, Jamal. I think when it comes to diplomacy, today we talk a lot about public diplomacy.
Certainly.
Now, public diplomacy is where missions reach out not necessarily to the government of the host country, but to the publics at large.
Right.
So the collaboration, just as our Sri Lankan missions abroad, they do reach out to different sectors in those societies. The diplomatic missions here also reach out to the private sector to strengthen trade and investment and commercial links, to the academia to strengthen scholarly and research links, to the civil society to strengthen humanitarian causes, and even development aid is now channeled to different specific groups and partners. So in that sense, this kind of event, which is where everyone is able to showcase what they are able to bring to the table, will provide that wider linkage and synergies that are necessary in a diplomatic collaboration.
Great. Ms. Jhan, talking about the Sri Lanka Foreign Service Association, speak to me a bit about what the core, I would say, the core purpose of this association is. What sort of activities are conducted by the Foreign Service Association? How good of a collaboration, how good of a partnership does it have with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and other diplomatic missions?
The Foreign Service Association is the inclusion of all the foreign service officers.
Right.
We are close upon 180 officers in the ministry, and we work together in line with the ministry policies.
Right.
And we also look at the welfare of our foreign service officers, whether they need training or any other assistance, we do speak to the ministry officials and try to smoothen out certain things or put forward our proposals to them for their consideration for the welfare of the association members. So in this instance, the association is working with the ministry. This time it's not only the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we have the tourism and the employment sector also working with us. So they have partnered with us. So we are a grand coalition, I would say.
Yes, growing from strength to strength. Mrs. Sugeeshwara, rolling the time back to 2023 when you first envisioned such an event to take place, what was the seed that brought out this event, this diplomatic bazaar? And in 2025, what do you see are the key differences or the key elements that have evolved over the past 2 years that you are looking forward to developing in the future?
Yes, Jamal. In 2023, we began as a small event. It was a rather smaller event involving the diplomatic community here. Of course, 2023 was a year where we're just coming out of an economic crisis. Sri Lanka was recovering. So that was a smaller event. But what we see is 3 years from then, the event has grown. The interest has grown. Anzul would testify, I think the demand that we have for the stalls, for the number of stalls, we would need to turn down some requests simply because we cannot accommodate. So the event has grown, and the venue has also changed now to Golfers Green, which is a larger area. So yes, the event is turning heads to some extent, and it is growing, which augurs well in the future when it comes to Sri Lanka's outreach and public diplomacy efforts.
Understood. Amazing. So, Mr. Jhan, talking about the cultural exchange and storytelling this event will bring, the program says that it will feature a number of embellishments, from country parades to a fashion show, cultural performances, and so on. So what makes these expressions of culture from various missions powerful tools for diplomacy and people-to-people connection, like Mr. Sugeeshwara mentioned about public diplomacy?
Chema, when you are abroad, when you see your flag or when you see a fellow Sri Lankan, the feeling is very different. It's very emotional. Likewise, when there is a country parade of another country, and the feeling is very emotional, and it's about a showcasing one's culture in a host country.
Yes.
So that's the and this is a collection of more than 30 missions coming together. So it's a display of different countries coming together, different cultures coming together. Further, we have the booths. They're showcasing their own traditional cultural items that they are going to sell at the booths. At the same time, they are planning to have their own food, and they will have the opportunity to interact with the community on a one-to-one basis, to tell them that this is what country ABC has to offer to the world. And when you meet them, you meet not only a person, you meet the ambassador of that country. They are the representatives. Like we represent ourselves abroad, they are representing themselves here. And this is a good forum for everyone to come to the Golfers Green and experience that firsthand. Because when you say a diplomatic mission, you always think that they are far away from us.
Yes,
but
it's
they are
structured,
not.
It's only focused on operations.
Yes, they are not reachable. But here they are there for you. When you visit us, you get the first-hand experience of meeting them.
Right. Because you are so engrossed in the organizing of this event, could you highlight any unique or surprising elements or items that our visitors can look forward to?
So starting from 4 o'clock, we have the cultural parade. I would invite everybody to be there at 4 o'clock because it's a unique experience where all the diplomatic participants go on a parade.
Oh, right, okay.
And thereafter we have the fashion show, which features Sri Lankan designers and the models themselves are the diplomats.
Wow, that's
So
very
you
exciting,
will
yeah.
get a combination of the diplomats
Okay.
plus the Sri Lanka Foreign Service officers.
Officers, yes.
So you
Also
will be
being part of the event.
yes. So they'll be walking the ramp, and it'll be a unique feature.
Right.
And I think in the past also it has taken the limelight, because you never see an ambassador in a sarong.
On a ramp.
Yes. So we do have a lot of designers coming in and helping out. They've volunteered, and the makeup artists to everyone. So this time you'll have a flavor of a lot of designers and many diplomats walking the ramp, because it's the most demanded event.
Okay. That has been organized. Wow. So it's going to be a jovial occasion and for everyone to enjoy in the family, right? So Mr. Sugeeshwara, talking about the collaboration and national support that you are getting, this event unites several government institutions, municipal authorities, and of course media partners. We are very proud to be partnering this event as well. So what does this level of inter-institutional collaboration say about Sri Lanka's commitment to international engagement? Because like we mentioned earlier, soft diplomacy, soft power diplomacy is very important for any country, especially a country like Sri Lanka. How important and what sort of message do we give to the world about our international engagement through these?
Yeah, Jamal, when it comes to international engagement, it is something Sri Lanka has always excelled at and engaged in from time back in history.
Yes.
Advent of Buddhism to this country was through international engagement.
Right.
There were Sri Lankan ambassadors in the Roman courts during the Roman Empire. So that has continued to grow, and we have been a trading hub at different times. There people come to our shows, become part of us. We have traded, we have sent people abroad. So that continues to do it today, and at any given time, if you see, Sri Lanka has always engaged with the world. Today, about 12 to 13% of Sri Lankans reside overseas. And that's why today the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is not just the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, it's the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Employment and Tourism. It is one ministry. It's one ministry for a reason. Now, if you see, our main source of revenue is remittances. $6.57 billion coming into the country last year, which is supposed to grow to around 7 billion this year.
Yes.
Then tourism, 2.1 million tourists last year, supposed to grow again to around 2.4, 2.5.
We've already hit 2 million this year by September.
Yeah, we already hit 2 million. So the revenues are supposed to increase from 3.1 billion to perhaps closer to 3.54 billion. So the effect that binds, the glue that binds all this is the foreign affairs diplomacy.
Right.
The political work that we do, the political consultations that are held, the consultations that take into gamut the whole gamut of relations with a certain country, and then decide which areas to push forward. So it is that international engagement that is important. And here at the bazaar, we have at different level, the Colombo Municipal Council is involved, the Foreign Employment Bureau, the Sri Lanka Bureau of Foreign Employment is showcasing in its stalls products from about 40 to 50 returnee migrants who have started their own businesses. And the SLBFE, now a lot of people, we talk about migrants going abroad and sending remittances, but what about when they return? What areas do they have? What is there? What are avenues do they have?
Support the economy?
Yeah, exactly. So the SLBFE has an active program to support returnee workers, and so these are 40 to 50 success stories that will be showcased in their stalls. Similarly, Sri Lanka Tourism will have its own stall showcasing Sri Lanka tourism. But one could then ask the question, why showcase it here in Sri Lanka? But then you're showcasing it among 31 other countries as well. So this is also a way of building synergies. So it's at multiple levels that international engagement is important for us.
Amazing. So in this instance, diplomacy, I would say, also meets an element of humanity, because over the past 3 years and even this year, it's being held for a worthy cause. I believe a certain portion of the proceeds will be donated to purchase RO units Can you speak to me about that a bit, Ms. Jhan?
Yes, the past 2 years we have given the proceeds of the bazaar to the MH Omar kidney disease unit.
Right.
And this year when we approached the Ministry of Health, they wanted to know whether we have any specific criteria.
Okay.
We said no, nothing. And what they proposed is there is a
requirement as such, yes.
for
RO
RO machines,
units.
especially the one in Kuragala in Anuradhapura.
Right.
They said that the donor at the last minute had
Backed out.
So therefore this community is waiting for an RO machine. I think what better project than yes. So that's how we came up to donate all the proceeds for the RO machine, which will be done by the Sri Lanka Navy, and we will be hopefully, if we get more donations, as of now itself there is a lot of sponsors who have given us generously, we can go for a second RO machine.
Amazing. So could you also share how diplomatic missions have responded to the humanitarian focus of the event, not just in 2025 but since the inception of this event?
Now if you take last year, the diplomatic bazaar proceeds itself exceeded 3 million.
Okay.
That means the diplomatic bazaar stalls manned by diplomats came up with this money. So that's a big amount when you take a one-day bazaar. But this time we are only having it from 4 to 10 in the evening. So as of now, sponsors have come up, and also the diplomats have promised to take up this good cause. So this year we are expecting a large number of people coming to the event, and every stall which sells anything from food to handicraft or any other items, they are directly giving that proceeds to this cause.
Right. So, Mr. Sugeeshwara, talking about how this event would directly or indirectly make diplomatic missions partners in development, in Sri Lanka's development story, beyond cultural exchange, how do events like this strengthen the development partnerships between diplomatic missions and also Sri Lankan institutions like the Foreign Affairs Ministry, the Bureau of Foreign Employment, and so on?
Yes, so Jamal, a diplomatic mission is the linkage between the sending state and the receiving state.
Yes.
They are the people who actually marry the requirements of the sending state, see the requirements of the receiving state, and give tangible, give teeth to certain projects and proposals. That is the node. Now, for example, we may have international commitments like the Sustainable Development Goals.
Yes.
But it is the diplomatic missions that identify the projects, links the donors and the recipients, and actually provide the tangible funds. So, this kind of bazaar is a place, it's a curated space where a diplomatic mission gets the space to tell their stories.
Yes.
So, for example, French wine would not just be a wine in a bottle, but it is a French story.
Yes.
Italian coffee would be an Italian story.
Yes, yes.
So, it is a space that allows that story to be told, and it is ingrained in our nature that we respond to stories.
Yes.
That is part of human makeup, that we listen to stories, we remember stories.
Yes.
So, these curated spaces provide the space for those individual diplomatic missions to tell their story
about their nations,
and thereby connect with our audience, as also for our for example, I told you before about the SLBFE.
Yes.
That is their story. Our migrant workers returning and making success out of their skills that they have. There will be showcasing of cosmetic products, of food products, of handicraft, and small and micro scale businesses that have become the backbone of our economy. If you see the total enterprises in our country, about 52% are what are
small
called
and medium scale
MSMEs, micro, small and medium scale enterprises.
Yes.
So these are success stories that we are able to showcase during the bazaar, and also get everyone to know about each other, and their own stories.
Great. Ms. Jhan, more than 30 diplomatic missions have partnered with you in this endeavor. I don't want you to name all of them, but can you name some of the diplomatic missions who have partnered with you in appreciation of them, and also for our viewers to get a hold of how major this event is?
There are many missions who have not only taken one booth, but they have taken multiple booths. So if I am to mention a few names, I would not be doing justice to everybody.
Yes.
So how should I go about this?
I will leave it in your hands.
So we have the missions coming from Malaysia, Thailand, India, and Maldives, and from the European side we have the Germany, EU booths. Those are the missions. Iran is coming in.
Right. So it's a synergy of multiple diplomatic missions, from regional missions to the ones in the West and so on. So it's a big,
covering all the...
Exactly. It's an extravagant occasion. Mr. Sugeeshwara, looking ahead beyond 2025, how do you envision the evolution of this bazaar in scale, in cultural depth, and also in social impact? Because the work that you're doing not only translates into greater cultural ties, but also the sustainability aspect of things. What is your vision for 2025 and beyond?
Well, the success of any event is in the targeted audiences. It's how the audiences respond, and what we have seen is over the course of the last 2-3 years, the audience has grown, the interest has grown, the interest among the participants, the sponsors, the media. So what is envisioned is for this event to grow, and of course at the fulcrum of this is a humanitarian worthy cause. So perhaps if the event grows, such causes may be funded by this event in the future, more than just today we have one cause, reverse osmosis machine, maybe two, but there can be multiple causes being funded by this event if the event grows. So that is the aim, to basically make the linkages, synergies, connections, understand each other, and at the heart of diplomacy is people-to-people contact.
Amazing. Ms. Jhan, is there an aspiration? I know when you started in 2013, this was one step, and now by 2 years later, it has evolved into a massive gathering. So is there an aspiration to transform this event into a regional intercultural gathering moving forward?
That's a big step. First of all, let us have it as a calendar event. It's an annual calendar event. That's what we are aiming at. And then we can look at the region.
Great. So moving away from the event that's going to be taking place, Ms. Sugeeshwara, I want to talk to you about Sri Lanka's diplomacy on a broader scale. When you talk about Sri Lanka's foreign policy identity, we have often balanced relationships across diverse geopolitical spheres. So how would you describe Sri Lanka's foreign policy identity today? And is it one of principled neutrality? I know that we have championed the cause of being a non-aligned state. So what sort of identity does Sri Lanka have currently?
In short, if I were to say, it's friendship towards all, enmity towards none. We maintain relations with all. We want to build links and relationships with all. Of course, at the heart of any foreign policy is national interest, while safeguarding our sovereignty, our territorial integrity, our national interest. We want to be friends of all, and to see where synergies can be built, and to build a better and make our small contribution to building a better world.
Amazing. So we will be right back after this short commercial break. Stay tuned to Face to Face. We will be back with you soon. Welcome back to Face to Face. Tonight I am in conversation with not one but two very interesting individuals who are here to speak about the annual Diplomatic Bazaar and Cultural Extravaganza 2025. It's taking place on the 29th of November, which is this Saturday, at the Golface Green. My guests today are Ms. Anzul Jhan, President of the Sri Lanka Foreign Service Association, and also Mr. Sugeeshwara Gunaratna, Director General for Europe and North America, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We were discussing all things cultural bazaar and cultural extravaganza and diplomatic bazaar, but then we transitioned into a broader topic, talking about Sri Lanka's diplomatic landscape, Sri Lanka's foreign policy direction, global positioning, and so on. Ms. Jhan, talking about public diplomacy and soft power beyond traditional diplomacy. I'm sure you are well versed in that area. What sort of steps is Sri Lanka taking to shape its global image through maybe culture, tourism, heritage, talent, etc.? What, in your opinion?
In my opinion, we are focusing on projecting Sri Lanka as a very inclusive, warm, and human-centered country.
Right.
That is very important for us because we are geopolitically positioned
In a very strategic location. Yeah, definitely.
And we as a country are very hospitable in nature. So that is what we can focus to the world, and that we are very good at that. And when it comes to tourism, we are close upon 3 million. Maybe next year we will reach that, and that can only be done through our outreach and our diplomacy, because each Sri Lankan is an ambassador of its own country.
Yeah.
So therefore we are looking to build their capacity to be that ambassador, and that's what we do that at the foreign ministry also. So in the diplomatic landscape, we need to project ourselves at that scale in bringing the attention of the whole world towards what we are very good at. That's what the foreign ministry is doing right now.
Right. Mr. Sugeeshwara, Sri Lanka has a very vibrant global diaspora. There are many migrant workers spread right across the world. And in that context, how are we strengthening diplomatic engagement with Sri Lankans residing overseas, not only as citizens abroad, but who are partners of innovation, investment, national development, taking Sri Lanka's story to the globe and so on?
Jamal, engaging with the Sri Lankan diaspora community in any of these countries, whether it's Europe or any other Middle East, is a prime responsibility of a diplomatic mission. So every mission maintains those links with the different societies, the diaspora societies, the Sri Lankan community representatives, and there is active linkage and work going on. For example, there are cultural shows organized in those countries. So in that way, then there are people who are interested in coming back and giving their talent and resources to this country. So the missions act as the linkage and the focal point where this kind of information and activity take place. So that is a very vibrant and vital activity of any diplomatic missions. We have 62 of them spread across the world, and each mission engages in their own way with the Sri Lankan communities in those countries.
Right. So linking my previous question to another one about building trust through consular diplomacy. Consular services play a very key role in developing public trust, and especially among migrant workers, right? How is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs strengthening services, protection, and also ensuring the welfare of Sri Lankans overseas in that context?
Jamal, I think digitalization is, basically at the heart of consular services is the effort to improve efficiency and effectiveness.
Right.
And digitalization is a very important aspect of that. So recently there was a project started with 20 missions to provide EBMD, we call it, birth, marriage and death certificates.
Right. Okay.
Online.
Okay.
And then of course this is being looked at how to expand these consular services to other services. So as we digitalize, as the government machinery digitalizes, then this digitalization will encompass our missions abroad as well, and so the consular services will become more effective and more efficient, and that is one way we do engage. And of course trying to cut across certain red tape, certain bureaucratic bottlenecks that have emanated from periods
certain
of time, certain procedures, streamlining procedures, all that is part of our efforts to streamline the consular network.
Right, so the ultimate goal is to make life easier for Sri Lankans abroad. Amazing. Ms. Jhan, talking about the next generation of diplomats and global professionals, with younger Sri Lankans showing a great intent and a lot of interest in global careers, what sort of a space is being created to inspire and also to include the next generation of global diplomats and professionals?
I'm very happy to answer that question because we've already got 2 batches, new batches. That's the 2024 and the 2025 batch. They're amazing, in short. And they are carrying the burden or the work of this bazaar. So I can sit happily answering your questions because I know they're out there. They're doing the groundwork. They're being supervised by the seniors and they're doing an amazing work. And most of them have come from the private sector, so they know the both ends. So they are much more versatile in reaching out. So I think the diplomatic service looks very promising for any newcomer because they can bring their own wealth of knowledge from the private sector or any other government working in government into the diplomatic service, and they can also grow within the service. We have made a training part of our diplomatic service. We need to upskill their development. So these are the areas that we are really looking at. From the association, we are keen to push for training. We not only get training within the country, we also look at opportunities that are outside. So overseas training is very important because that's our link. So those are the opportunities that are available for aspiring diplomats. I would welcome them to write the diplomatic service exam and get into the service, and this is one opportunity that you will never regret.
So I'm pretty sure all of the younger diplomats who are helping you organize this event will be very appreciative of the words that you have spoken.
I would like to add, it's a 24-hour service.
Yes, definitely.
You
it's
should
a hands-on
be absolutely geared to take up the challenge. If
and
not,
they are.
It's not.
And they have taken
for
it up.
everyone.
Certainly. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have on Face to Face today. But in our concluding thoughts, let us remind once again our viewers when the Diplomatic Bazaar and Cultural Extravaganza will happen. Is it a ticketed event? Is it free for all, the entire family? Please.
It's on Saturday, 29th of November, starting from 4 o'clock to 10 o'clock. It is not a ticketed event. It's free, and please do come from 4 onwards because you will there are a lot of diplomatic missions that offer the gifts for the raffle, and you will be able to buy the tickets at the venue and win some of the most amazing
prizes
in store.
Amazing. Mr. Sugeeshwara, anything to add? Concluding thoughts?
On the diplomatic service, I must say today's diplomatic service focus is not just on a few subject areas. Earlier it was like you studied international relations or law and you entered the diplomatic service. Today diplomacy is about science, about engineers. So we have people from different walks of life, engineers, scientists who have joined the diplomatic service, and that augurs well for the diplomatic service. So as Anzul said, I would urge any graduate thinking of joining the government service to look at the Sri Lanka Foreign Service.
Amazing. Right. Thank you very much to Ms. Anzul Jhan, President of the Sri Lanka Foreign Service Association, and also to Mr. Sugeeshwara Gunaratna, Director General for Europe and North America, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, for joining me today to speaking about the annual Diplomatic Bazaar and Cultural Extravaganza 2025. The date is Saturday the 29th of November 2025. Golf Race Green is the venue. 4 p.m. onwards the bazaar will be happening. Do join in, come with all your family members, enjoy, and I'm sure all of them are committed to giving you the best time possible. And with that, we wrap up Face to Face for tonight. Thank you very much for stopping by. We hope to see you soon again on a brand new episode. Thank you and good night.
Newsfirst, Face to Face with Jhan and Sugeeshwara.